So you fell for an avoidant. And let me guess, before that avoidant, you've had a narcissist. Now, isn't that a rude thing from the universe or God to do? Like, you just got out of a narcissistic relationship, and the next thing you fall for is an avoidant. Okay. Well, you probably have seen already some videos on attachment styles, and you probably already have a grasp of why this happened, why you felt drawn to a person that didn't meet your needs and sort of wanted to but wasn't capable of it, or maybe didn't even want to fulfill your needs. I want to let you know one thing. It may make you feel better that this person wanted to meet your needs and couldn't, over the fact that maybe they didn't want to. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the result is the same. And that's you being heartbroken and feeling unworthy of love, and you don't want that, okay? So if you're having a hard time getting over this person, I want to tell you one thing that really is going to shift your entire perspective on this. So the way that this person made you feel, like, think of really the days where you were like, do I even matter to this person? Like, after everything that happened, I know you like to think of the good times, and we're going to get to that later, they're also good. But really think of the not so good times. And now, imagine that this exact feeling that you just remembered, imagine that person came around and said, you know what, I want to marry you, let's be together. You say, okay. And then every single day of the rest of your life, in that marriage, you're going to feel this feeling. Yes, people can change. And yes, avoidant people can change, but only if they want to. And unfortunately, avoidant people don't learn from you being overly compassionate and overly empathetic and understanding them. They learn from consequences. If you walk away, he's going to have the consequences. And that might change him. But before you do that, it cannot happen from a manipulative state. Like, you cannot think like, oh, I still want him, but I want to leave to teach him a lesson so he learns, and then he'll come back to me and be nicer. Like, I gotta tell you that 95% of the times it's gonna backfire, not gonna work, because energy doesn't lie, and he's gonna still feel that you want him, which in his world is enough, right? Because avoidant people fear intimacy, like, cats fear water. They just don't like it. Sometimes you need to leave the person that you love to be with the person that gives you what you deserve. And what you deserve is consistency and stability and love and empathy. And nobody is perfect, okay? Even the person that God has foreseen for you is gonna trigger you. Especially when we're in love, we tend to get triggered because we care about the person. Like, we tend to get sad or angry quickly with somebody we care about. That's normal. And that person that is meant for you is going to make you feel all sorts of ways. But it's all about one thing, and that is the willingness to be with you and being consistent and showing up. And you can work through anything. Like, so, okay, I won't say anything, but so many things. Like, if a drug addiction is in the game, like, from your partner, like, please be careful with that, okay? Don't get too involved, because they may drag you down with you, you know? But so many things can be worked on. But the minimum that a person needs to give you to be your romantic partner is the fact that this person wants this and consistently shows up in order to make it good. Because if they don't, you're gonna be in that situation that I told you before, that imagine you are married to this person, and you know, this happens. There are people who get married to an avoidant partner, and then you might think like, oh, they've made it, like, that's all I want, right? I want to, like, tie this person down and have this person. But if you already have emotional problems constantly in this relationship, do you really want this? And I know it's hard. Because we don't choose who we fall in love with. But what we can choose is how we treat ourselves, how we regulate our nervous system, how we work on our thought patterns, how we perceive the world, and then bit by bit, it's going to change who we are attracted to. But this is a long journey, sometimes lifelong. And I'm not going to say it's easy, because here's the unfair thing. What you are used to, what your worldview consists of, is repeating itself, because you yourself confirm your own worldviews. That's how our brain works. So if you believe that every man is incapable and that you have to do all the work in the relationship, like as an emotional labor and showing up and making sure that this relationship is even alive, you are going to attract men that fit this pattern. Because a man that shows up is going to feel a little bit controlled by a woman that wants to be in charge of the emotional aspect. But it's unfair because you don't know it any other way. And that's how you think it works. But in a very, very early stage already, that's going to energetically repel a man that actually wants to show up. So if you're interested in going into this further, I do one-on-one coaching and where we resolve those thought patterns, because it's really hard to find out where you're stuck at by yourself at home, because opportunity comes to you to find out where you can get better in when it comes to changing your worldview, when you are talking to somebody or when you're out in the world experiencing life. Whenever you're triggered, whenever you feel like there's something that just challenges your worldview, the challenge is that most people are not even aware of this. Most people aren't even aware of their view, or they kind of are, but they don't know how deep it goes. So this is the kind of work I do. I'm going to drop a link in the description if you're interested in that. Until then, I want you to know something. You know, I really believe this. It might be a little bit too spiritual for you, but I'm just going to drop this on you because it really helped me. Not every person that you fall in love with, and that person may even love you back, and you may even have a great time together for a while, maybe a few months, maybe even years, but not every person like this is meant to stay with you forever. Because I believe that we have a thing called soul contracts, that before we incarnate, we find out we have other souls that we are in a soul family with that help each other navigate life on earth. I know, very spiritual and esoteric, but this is what I believe. And it gives me a much better time overcoming bad things or harsh endings in relationships or friendships, because I'm like, okay, maybe this is what we said we would do. Maybe this friend was supposed to hurt me, so I actually have the courage to move away from this city because I have nothing that keeps me here anymore, you know? It's kind of crazy how life works, and maybe we'll all meet again once this life is over and we will like laugh about the things that we had to do to each other. I don't know how it works, but it's just what I believe in. Okay? So that person that you really want, maybe this person wants you too. And maybe you guys have a soul contract that this was meant to happen. But maybe still, with love in your heart, you can say, you know what, I just don't want to be miserable every day of my life for the rest of my life. So I gotta go if you keep treating me like this. And then actually walk away and work on yourself, have some amazing experiences, you know? Like, as much as love is awesome, like really being in love is the greatest thing ever, right? But there's other awesome, really great things, and it was 11:11 on the timer as I said it. That's kind of crazy. So there's really beautiful things out there in this world that you can experience or have, so focus on that. In the meanwhile, work on yourself, and eventually somebody's gonna come along. Now, I'm not gonna say that you should stay single forever until you're repaired and then date. You can date, but just for a while I would recommend to not do it. And then when you kind of feel like ready, you can go out again. And those triggers again, like when you're in the dating world, it just shows you what to work on. Okay, my love, I'm gonna go now. I hope you have a beautiful day and you are divinely protected and loved, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.